For more than a century, spectators have been enthralled by the combination of technical skill and artistic expression that characterizes football, soccer. The unrestrictive regulations of football, in comparison to those of other sports, enable players to develop an almost infinite number of different tricks, skills, passes, and shots. There are always a few players that surprise everyone by pulling off a miraculous play or scoring an unthinkable goal during the season. When I was going over the finest goals from the previous season, it got me thinking about the best goals that have ever been scored. After doing some investigation, I found the following to be true. Number 10. George Weah, 1996. The spectacular goal that George Weah scored for Milan in 1996 is the thing that most people will remember him for. He was successful in regaining possession of the ball inside his penalty area and then racing the length of the field to score a goal by beating the opposing goalkeeper. On his route, he easily sidestepped 3 opponents who were trying to stop him. Number 9. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, 2012. Zlatan Ibrahimovic scored one of the greatest goals in the history of the sport in a friendly international match against England in late 2012. Zlatan spun around on his hind legs, leaped into the air, and then hooked an overhead kick into the England goal from about 30 yards out. This occurred after Joe Hart, the goalie for England, made a weak-headed clearance. Even though goals scored with overhead kicks are typically considered to be flukes, the technique, poise, athleticism, and precision that Ibrahimovic displayed were outstanding. Number 8. Dennis Bergkamp, 2002. Everyone was taken aback when Dennis Bergkamp scored for Arsenal in their game against Newcastle in 2002. Bergkamp was famous for his incredible talent and control of the ball. Because it appears that no one else has ever done what he did before, it is impossible to specifically describe what he performed. You could describe that he flipped the ball back around the defender, turned, and went around the opposite side to collect it and score, but it's better to just watch and be impressed by what he does. Number 7. Eric Cantona, 1996. Eric Cantona scored a memorable goal in 1996, and his ensuing celebration was worthy of his accomplishment. After defeating the first 2 opponents, he then initiated a pass exchange with a member of Manchester United. After that, he took a shot from the outside of the penalty area that went over the goalkeeper's head. Cantona celebrated by standing on the place, softly pirouetting while he took in the ambience, and taking in the occasion with a vainglorious glare to accompany his most memorable moment. The 86th minute volley that Cantona scored against Liverpool at Wembley would leave a lasting legacy, even though it was neither Cantona's favorite nor his most aesthetically pleasing goal. It lacked the audacity of his Sunderland lob and the spectacular control that he displayed against Wimbledon. The impact was multi-faceted, as both Manchester United and Liverpool's trajectories experienced a significant acceleration in the time immediately following the event. Cantona made an impression that will never be erased, forever changing the terrain. Since then, things have changed in significant ways. Number 6. Marco van Basten, 1988. In the final game of the European Championship in 1988, the Dutch icon Marco van Basten scored a goal in the 54th minute. Even the Germans, who were trying to outdo their countrymen, stood up and celebrated. His now famous goal was a hit of extreme difficulty. It was a looped volley that required precision, force, and accuracy, and it was taken from an awkward angle. Number 5. Carlos Alberto, 1970. The Brazilian team that competed in the 1970 World Cup is often regarded as one of the best assembled for a national football team. Pelé, Jairzinho, Rivellino, and Gerson were all members of the team that was captained by Carlos Alberto. They were victorious in every game of the tournament, finishing with a crushing 4-1 victory over Italy in the championship game. Number 4. Roberto Carlos, 1997. This piece is more of a celebration of the extraordinary talent of Roberto Carlos. This breathtaking video highlights 3 incredible accomplishments. The first goal is possibly the one that has been viewed by most people in the history of football. Roberto Carlos' free kick from 1997, which stopped Fabien Barthez, the goalkeeper for France, in his tracks and left him bewildered, does not appear to have been replicated by anyone, even to this day. Number 3. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, 2004. Zlatan Ibrahimovic scored a goal in 2004 that was deserving of comparison to the great Johan Cruyff. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, a famous player from Sweden, has amassed an impressive body of work throughout his career. On this day in 2004, he scored the goal that sent him into the public eye for the first time. It was this goal that brought him to the attention of the media. When Ibrahimovic was playing for AFC Ajax against NAC Breda, he went on a slaloming run before finding the back of the net with an ice-cool finish. This run caused both the fans and the defenders to look in his direction. While Ibrahimovic had his back to the goal when he received the ball in the opposing team's half, he still managed to outmaneuver his marker and another defender as he turned toward the net. After that, he twisted and pivoted, which caused 3 defenders to scramble. Then he fooled the goalkeeper into falling to the ground with a dummy, and then he calmly slotted the ball into the goal. Number 2. Diego Maradona, 1986. The goal that Diego Maradona scored against England in the 1986 World Cup was a stroke of brilliance and may go down in history as the most memorable goal in the history of the beautiful game. Following the disputed Hand of God goal, England found themselves trailing 1-0 and were attempting to claw their way back into the game. After 55 minutes of play, José Luis Cuciufo was able to gain possession of the ball from Peter Beardsley. Number 1. Lionel Messi, 2007. In 2007, Barcelona played Getafe in the first leg of their Copa del Rey semi-final match at Camp Nou. The match was the first of 2 legs. Lionel Messi is often regarded as the best player in the world. Therefore, it is not surprising that he holds the record for the best goal scored. It was scored by Barcelona in their match against Getafe in 2007, and it had many of the same characteristics as the goal scored by Diego Maradona 20 years earlier. He began and ended the play in the same place, but on his way to scoring, he went around 4 defenders and then the goalkeeper. Messi's goal had a slightly superior finish, even though there is not much of a difference between the 2 goals. Do you feel this video helpful for you? Post your feedback in our comment section below, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos.